Are you currently terrified of Bloody Mary? We're going to talk all about that. Stay tuned. That's what's up next. Hi, my name's Natasha Daniels, and I'm a child therapist, and I make videos for kids with anxiety and OCD. Today I want to talk to you about a topic I know a lot about, and that is Bloody Mary. The reason why I know so much about Bloody Mary is because kids of all ages are terrified of Bloody Mary. And you're not really unique because Bloody Mary has been around since the 70s and earlier, the 1970s, and it's been studied. And it hasn't been studied because kids are going missing everywhere or kids are disappearing or dying everywhere. No, it's been studied because it's fascinating that so many kids throughout the decades and years have been afraid of something that doesn't exist. I hear a lot about Bloody Mary, but guess who doesn't hear a lot about Bloody Mary? The news. You don't hear a lot about Bloody Mary on the news because Bloody Mary isn't real. Unfortunately, though, kids won't believe me. And that's because they trust their friends and their friends' stories, or what they read on YouTube, even though I'm on YouTube, more than they trust the adults around them. Bloody Mary has had a million different varieties, different stories, different things you have to do. Turn around 3 times. You have to say her name this way. It has to be dark. It can only be done at midnight. Now, the reason why there are so many different renditions of Bloody Mary is because it's kind of like telephone. Have you ever played telephone? When you're little, you sit around in a circle and the first person has a message and then they have to say the same message to the next person, and then they go all the way around the room, and at the very end, the person says what they heard and it's nothing like what was originally said. Welcome to legends. Myths and legends are like that too. They get passed along from generation to generation, and along the way, they get changed, adapted, elaborated, and tweaked. And that's why your Bloody Mary version might be different than the kid down the road. But they're all still legends. And legends are things typically that are exaggerated or didn't even happen. So the bottom line to understand is that Bloody Mary has been around way before you were born, and it will be around way after. And you'll probably be having to talk to your kids about this as well. But mirrors are safe. There are no Bloody Marys that are going to pop out of your mirrors. I've never heard of a story on the news where that's happened. I've never read where that's happened. And I have read a lot about Bloody Mary. Now, if that's not enough to make you feel less anxious, if you're a kid who is running in the bathroom and running out really quick because you're so scared, or you're avoiding bathrooms altogether because you're so scared, I work with a lot of those kids. And sometimes we have to do an experiment. And I had to do this with one of my own kids. And we said, look, Bloody Mary doesn't exist. I'm sorry that you're having to deal with that, because kids love to tell ghost stories and they love to tell spooky stories. It's something that kids thrive on and they find it fun. And so it spreads really quickly. Did you hear about Bloody Mary? Did you hear about Bloody Mary? And so if one kid talks about it, the whole school knows about it. And with my youngest daughter, we actually did an experiment and we said, let's just do it. Let's go in the bathroom. Let's turn the lights off. Let's do it exactly you were told. And we did. And guess what? She's still alive. Nothing came out of the mirror. Go figure. And then you might be saying, well, you didn't do it right. You didn't have all the details. You didn't do it exactly the way you're supposed to. Adults aren't supposed to be in there. It doesn't matter, because there's a million different ways to do Bloody Mary, and none of them produce a Bloody Mary. Thank goodness, because this world is not as scary as people would like it to be. So if you are having some fear about Bloody Mary, don't believe everything you hear. Remember that kids love to spook each other out. It's just what kids do. They find it fun. But if you have anxiety, then it's not fun for you, because those things get filed in your brain and they come out at night. They come out when you have to go to the bathroom. They come out when you're trying to go to sleep, and they work against you. So anytime you have an idea or a thought about Bloody Mary, why don't you make it kind of silly? Why don't you make it kind of fun? And imagine something on top of it. Maybe she's not so spooky. Maybe she's making a funny face. Make your own rules. when you take a scary thought and you put something funny on top of it, it loses its power. So 3 things that you could do. 1, just be like, you know what? I realize now Bloody Mary, that's totally fake. It's been around before the 70s and it'll be around way after I'm grown up. 2, if that's not enough for you, do an experiment. Get with your parent and do Bloody Mary. You know what? I wouldn't tell you to do something if I didn't know you'd be okay. Or 3, make it funny. Whenever you have that image of Bloody Mary in your head and you get really freaked out, put a silly image on top of it. And every time you have that thought, put that silly image on top, and before you know it, Bloody Mary is going to be hysterical. Trust me. All right, well, I hope that helps. Stop listening to your friends. Start listening to adults, because sometimes we actually know what we're talking about. I hope that you find the sparkle in everything you do, and I will talk to you again next Thursday.